We are closing in on the last quarter, the last portion of our stream here, and it's going to be a worthwhile one because we get to welcome in Dr. David Bieri from Virginia Tech University now to join the stream and talk to us. David, it's great to see you again. Thanks for taking a little bit of time on a Friday here to hang with us. I hope everything's going well with you. Oh, and Dr. Bieri, you may be on mute still for us. We did not hear you there, which is no problem at all.
My audio.
There we go. We got you.
Well,
Gentlemen's time has expired.
Secretary.
While we'd like
Okay,
to
that
more
actually
about
may have
Krispy
been
Kreme
us,
and
not you.
chocolate
So we
whole milk,
appreciate
we're
we
gonna
appreciate
move now
your patience.
The gentlelady from Connecticut,
now,
Mrs. Hayes.
Dr. Bieri, just give me
Thank
1
you.
second. We still
Good
have
afternoon.
sound playing from a previous clip, Samantha. We're still getting our technical ducks in a row here, Dr. Bieri. We appreciate your patience here. And I've cut you off right as you were talking about your day here. Just give us one moment, and we will be right back with Dr. Bieri. In the meantime, I will give an update here on the current situation. Donald Trump and the Iranian foreign minister both announcing that the Strait of Hormuz is now fully open to commercial vessels. However, the United States blockade on Iranian ports remains in place. And with that, we officially now welcome Dr. Bieri back on. Dr. Bieri, once again, I do want to ask, I hope you're having a good Friday.
Oh, I'm having a fantastic Friday. It's only going to get better.
Okay. Awesome. That's great. And we won't beat around the bush here. The Strait of Hormuz, the announcement this morning that it is back open. Your reaction to this news?
It's something. It's something. It will have an impact. The question will be, how long will that impact last? The president has emphasized that it has already an impact on gas prices. That's very welcome. We've seen maybe on average a 7-cent decrease. But of course, we're not quite there yet. The peace negotiations are still elusive, and now it's beginning to involve more complex pieces that some of them might actually be outside of our control, including what's happening in the Lebanon and with Israel.
And we see the ceasefire, the 10-day ceasefire with Lebanon and Israel also having an impact on global markets. If we rewind a little bit to when that ceasefire was announced, what kind of reaction did we see from the global energy market to that news?
Well, it's always a relief. I mean, markets remain surprisingly optimistic, and so I may come across as perhaps a little more, even keel. Not to say I'm not pessimistic about the whole thing, but the thing that we are currently still benefiting from markets that have not lost faith that this is temporary, and we keep emphasizing it that it's temporary. As I may have mentioned at the last time we were speaking, even the chairman of the Federal Reserve said, we believe that this price hike will be temporary. And let's hope that it stays that way. But things are beginning to drag on a little bit, and things are not getting more simple, it seems, despite the assurances that we're hearing from the White House that everything is going according to plan. And so I'm quite willing to believe that it is so. And it's, of course, very good news that the straits are open. But we should also not put too much faith in it, because after all, we do have the most powerful navy in the world. And so it would be rather quite worrying if we couldn't make good on that policy promise. So we shouldn't take, in some ways, these news, which are essentially a vote of confidence in our naval forces, which they have. They're the best in the world. There's no question about it. They can secure that thing. But now it's politics that needs to deliver.
And you talk about that belief and how so much of what we've seen is because people still have belief that this will be a temporary conflict. I'm wondering if we could compare and contrast. You have the tangible impacts of actual oil not being able to physically travel through the strait and the impact that has on markets. And then you have this sort of more intangible concept of faith in the length of conflict. I'm wondering if maybe, does that faith, does that belief, does that measure up to the tangible impacts that we see, or is it even more impactful on markets than actual ships traveling through the strait?
I think in the long run, expectations about the future are much more powerful than reality. I mean, financial markets are all about that, if you like. You and I don't know what tomorrow holds. We may have a good read on maybe the weather. We may have a good read on what's likely in our own lives about over the factors that we can control and what we cannot control. So therefore, the beliefs about the future are extraordinarily important. And once those go, it's anybody's guess. And that's my primary concern because we can deal with real problems. We can deal with issues that need to be addressed. The flexibility and ingenuity of the American economy vis-a-vis real issues is extraordinary and historically, from a historical perspective, without equal. And so we can do that. Where it gets a little more dicey is once we start believing certain things about the future, how do you undo those beliefs without clear proof and strong evidence?
To what degree is some of the rhetoric that we have heard from, you mentioned President Trump and sort of his positive rhetoric and his optimistic rhetoric, to what degree do you see some of that being to enforce what you just said, which is maintaining a concrete belief that in what tomorrow holds in terms of this conflict?
Oh, of course, it's vital. I mean, but it should also not surprise us. I mean, we could do the counterfactual experiment of a leader that's complaining about the situation that he created. So this is what we ought to expect. To some extent, policymakers do this all the time. The chairman of the Federal Reserve or the Federal Reserve in general, when it focuses on what they call forward guidance and communicating what is likely to happen, they sometimes err a little bit on the side of caution by sometimes being a little bit more pessimistic and then have positive surprises give us an additional boost. This is not something that White House politicians necessarily have done in the past in the realm of politics. But in that sense, what has to be a concern for us is how this thing is beginning to proliferate and in some ways introduce more pieces that will be more and more difficult to control, including what's happening in Southeast Asia in terms of, we've already heard the administration being concerned that the Chinese might be hoarding oil and are beginning to behave strategically in a particular way, all of which I don't think was possible to think through all the way as we were getting involved in the Middle East.
Yeah, and obviously, to ask you to sort of inhibit the perspective of other major world powers, I understand that what I'm asking you doesn't lead to a sort of a foolproof explanation. But I do want to ask, when you think about major world powers that are not directly involved in this conflict, such as China, such as Russia, do you believe their perspective on this is one of an open opportunity? And what is the opportunity that they would be trying to capitalize on in an ideal situation?
Oh, that's a very straightforward question. I may have talked about this already. Anybody who plays the game of risk understands the importance of geopolitics. And we are in an age of increased weaponized interdependency. And that means this is a huge opportunity for Russia and it's a huge opportunity for China. Because when another world power is absorbed, and we are currently absorbed in the Middle East, it reduces our capacity to maneuver or pay attention to other flashpoints, say the Ukraine or Taiwan. It's a straightforward issue, and unfortunately, one has to. You can't say it in a different way. This crisis is benefiting both Russia and China in different ways.
And we also, we talk about some of the different factors that could impact the market and ultimately prices at the pump for American consumers. We talk about that belief. We also talk about the actual transportation of oil and how readily available that is. But we spoke to an expert last week who said that there's an eye to be kept on corporations that, trade in this industry, and that once those prices go up, for them, what is compelling them to not just leave those prices high, even if the flow of oil starts to open up again? To what degree are you observing that? What are the expectations based on past situations like this of gas companies whose job is to maximize profits to actually follow the market and lower prices for consumers?
Well, overall, that is the issue of sticky prices, as we call it in economics, and the asymmetry of sticky prices. That prices tend to adjust upwards more readily than downwards, and that has very rational, as you implied, very rational reasons, including risk management, because it's very difficult sometimes to foresee the future, and particularly in an area or in an era of heightened risk, oil corporations might be already baking in future risk, including damage to infrastructure that needs to be rebuilt. Let's not forget that there has been a lot of collateral damage that corporations have to internalize. And so in terms of passing immediate reliefs of price pressure back to consumer is unlikely. I mean, it's happening, but maybe not to the extent that we would wish. And so once again, I think this is a story of where the resilience and resourcefulness of the American consumer will see us through this.
And we talk about, the Strait of Hormuz reopening, but President Trump said that the blockade on Iranian ports will remain. How much does that hamper the progress that we hope to see here?
It's a card that he has to play without maneuvering himself strategically into a corner. And so, unfortunately, these things, there is no sort of nice way of saying it. It is what it is. It's like in chess. Once you do a certain move, that you have to see it through, and in that sense, unless you have some sort of a parallel move that you can enforce. But the US is in a very difficult situation because we clearly, our ally Israel has shown that it plays an important role in its own thinking and doesn't necessarily always align its moves with ours, and our very important allies in the Gulf have indirectly shown us that their patience is limited too, and so that puts us in a more of a bind than we would want to be in, all else equal.
Yeah, that interdependency that you spoke about before.
Yes.
Now, is there anything else that you feel like our viewers need to know about what's going on with the energy crisis right now, gas prices, and this reopening of the strait?
I mean, we've been talking about the magnitude of the effect, and you can ask yourself, why isn't this the 1970s all over again? And part of the reason for this is that we live in a different world now, where, for example, unions are less powerful, and where the automatic increases in the cost of living. And that's an important piece for Virginians, as Governor Spanberger has just signed the minimum wage bill that by 2028 will give us the $15 minimum wage, as we're struggling with cost of living increases. And by virtue of that bill, cost of production increases, particularly in Southwest Virginia. In the 1970s, these increases could have been baked into future wage demands, but we no longer have that. And so it's once again the flexibility of our current economic system at home is in some ways subsidizing this exercise. And this is perhaps the only somewhat controversial point that I will make, which is we started this administration on the basis of a focus on America first, but it seems that the global peace, us looking after the rest of the world's peace by taking out the Iranian government, is again being subsidized by the American public. And so in some interesting way, we are still subsidizing world peace for now.
Yeah, which, as you said, at times was a major staple of some of the campaigns for the presidency that we saw from Trump and his administration. You mentioned Southwest Virginia. That is where David Bieri is talking to us from, Virginia Tech University. You mentioned that we can never know what tomorrow holds. I hope that for me, tomorrow holds a trip to the beach, and I hope that for you, it holds something just as enjoyable. Thank you for joining us, as always, Dr. Bieri.
Thank you so much. I'll be headed to my children's softball game tomorrow.
Oh, it doesn't get any better than that. Good luck to your children's teams. Hopefully we get a couple W's.
Thank you very much.
All right, that's Dr. Bieri once again from Virginia Tech University, speaking about all things energy crisis, Strait of Hormuz, gas prices here at home. We always get to cover a lot when we're lucky enough to have Dr. Bieri on. Now,